How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today a couple more missions chipped away at. Establish a supply route for the locals. Yeah, I got all the vehicles moved there yesterday whilst I was building my own road that was pretty close to it. Send some of the AI. To be fair, it wasn't actually... Well, the bicycle was fine, getting from one end to the other. So was the dumper truck. I drove the bloody paver in the end because I just didn't even trust it to get there. And yeah, thankfully there's like a sand quarry covering this area, so I don't have to bring a scalper and try and lucky dip across half the landscape to see if I can find a little grain of sand that will allow it to deploy. I judged my road pretty well leading up to it. They just about meet up. There's like a tiny little bit of non-paved section between them, but it'll do. Yeah, the video as well might be a little bit earlier tonight. Nothing too crazy, but I didn't really go to sleep again last night. I've had pretty rough sleep the last couple of weeks. Yeah, so apologies if I sound a bit sort of tired and out of it. Apart from that though, it was all good. But yeah, that's probably why the video is like a tad earlier. And then, this is the first time I've had this in quite a while, to be honest. It wouldn't pave. I had to kind of like, you know, sort of click it to deploy it, which was a pain already because I'm driving this manually, but I'd set the steamroller off behind me so it sort of follows along behind. And this thing managed to completely balls it up as usual. Such a terrible vehicle in this game. Like, especially considering the game is literally Roadcraft, and this vehicle is horrific at crafting roads without getting stuck on practically nothing. And yeah, I'm sure way back at the beginning of the game, the vehicles would queue up behind each other. Maybe it's if they're both AI, but for whatever reason, yeah, I mean, these days it does just goes through, and because this stupid thing got stuck, obviously now the roller's gone ahead, so I'll have to sort of send that back myself. Managed to get it back straightened up, but at this point, yeah, then my cat was jumping up, and he trod on the bloody keyboard, and so I started swerving off to the side, and then I think he trod on the space bar and put the handbrake on. I was like, Jesus Christ. I'm trying to get a mission done in this game. It's a right nightmare. Yeah, I mean, again though, still blame this vehicle for most of it. But look at it, it can barely get out of there. Even when it's like undeployed or whatever. Get there, get skinny, and yeah, in theory, if that had gone right first time, this thing. And then obviously because I let the AI drive this, it turns off the roll asphalt. So I was like, for God's sake, gotta reverse. Do it again. I think they've made the green greener in this game, which I don't think is a bad thing. You can see the road seems to show up more green when you're on that stage. But when you scroll through the trees, like, show sort of the resources on the map, they seem to light up greener these days, which is not a bad thing, because the big patches you could see easily, but sometimes when there's one tree on its own, it was a little bit, yeah, not quite there. Oh yeah, by the way, this mission... well, it said do that, and then it unlocked... I've got to draw an AI route, and it says it will give me 15 fuel. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. At least, like, that's a way then to get the fuel, because obviously I didn't realise, but I probably would have and could have used the loaf just to recover the vehicles to there if I'd known I was going to get 15 fuel out of it. I can't remember. No, it probably didn't say it on the road. It probably was like... So it's the same mission, but after you've done the road, it then unlocks the section where it says to do an infrastructure route. So then I let these run along. Thankfully it sends 4 on, so... And the route's pretty easy, especially once you build the road, so that wasn't really any hassle. So what's going on here? Got a trailer stashed in there. Yeah, so it completes it. It does the weird camera thing, but eventually the second one gets there. Objective complete, and it just says reward 200 XP and 500 money. And I still haven't been paid my 15 fuel. And then you can see there it says reward, it still says it, like 2,115 fuel. So I waited for the next one to get there. And thankfully once it did, it cashed up and I got 20 now in the top right corner. I've got 20 fuel. But yeah, I sort of don't like in this game how they say you're going to get something or whatever and then they slip in extra missions or, yeah, just kind of like, just tell me what I'm getting and when I'm getting it. Restore the Woodsy oil well. There's an oil well over here that needs an area clearing, which I would have possibly taken a dozer, but there was quite a bit of rough terrain to get through between here and there. And yeah, the dozer's a little bit meh. So I thought I'll take the crane. Once it's stubbed its chin there, I was like, that'll do. I'll draw a little line. Yeah, I probably could do with bringing some road building stuff this way and sort of across here. I'm not sure if it'll drain, or have I already drained this area? There's one section, it's probably more in the middle of the map. I think the water level's still quite high, and there probably is a mission in the future to drain it. Yeah, obviously behind me is like the dam area that I cleared. That's all the stuff I'm ramming into. As long as you get it outside the zone, it counts as being cleared. And this thing, it wasn't too bad driving on it, other than this thing gets its chin caught quite a lot. As long as you're allowed to actually get a bit of speed up, it's not too bad. Neither is the dozer really, but I just knew with the rough terrain, it'll end up getting stuck, and then every time you try and turn, it obviously kills half the power of the tracks, and then it'll just get itself stuck even worse. So yeah, I figured I'd bring this. It turns out though, this mission probably wouldn't be a bad candidate for actually taking the dozer and just pushing the stuff to clear the objects, because to be honest, there's quite a bloody lot of them. And obviously it's easy with the crane, but you just keep going back and forth with the crane arm, picking like 20 or 30 different things up. And along here somewhere, the mud gets like a lot worse. To be fair, the ruts it's kind of leaving behind when my tyre tracks is getting pretty deep, but at some point I also sort of got beached on, I don't know, it's almost like mud that won't squidge out of the way. It's a bit like how when you lay sand, that kind of acts as like completely solid. Even pinging my crane legs out wasn't really helping in this situation, which is pretty rare. But yeah, whatever like my chin is caught on, it's not really like letting me deform the mud. So even doing a little sort of cheeky crane leg thing was not helping. So it did that time, but I'm now propped on whatever bit of like undamageable mud it seems. So there might be like the surface layer you can squidge, but there's obviously like a lump underneath that just ain't going anywhere. So yeah, like a little bit long to drive through here if I'm honest. All things considered though, this crane isn't terrible at off-roading. Considering it is a massive crane, they could have punished it more than they have. I think it's relatively fair how sort of decent this vehicle is. So yeah, got out of that section. Again, I think this might actually be the southern swamp, so it probably is already drained after I delivered the pumps the other day. So yeah, that's probably about as good as it's getting. I've still not got, like, what I'm sort of roughly aiming for. I was hoping to get some fuel, and now I have. I've got 20, so I've got more than enough, or I should have, to recover vehicles to any of the roads it wants me to build. Now I'm trying to get either a construction zone, so I can buy 3 concrete slabs, or a slab facility, I suppose, and build them myself, because I've got a forest base to unlock. But I need 3 steel beams, which I've now got 17 at the steel beams facility. But yeah, I've got no slabs at the minute, so I can't do that mission, even though it offered it me quite early in the game. Until I get the slabs, I'm kind of stuck. And yeah, you can see there's bloody loads of stuff you've got to move out of the way. This one was also kind of glitched and stuck against these 2 posts, even though it looked like it should have popped out, it was not quite having it. And eventually, over this is like the other side. Yeah, there must have been 20 or 30 objects this time to clear out the way. So just pretty repetitive, to be honest. Get the last one out of the zone, done. It doesn't... You complete it, but it doesn't really, you know, come up like, da-da-da, mission complete. It kind of jumps to the next stage of it, I suppose, where there's these 4, I don't know, like oil pipe network things you've got to sort of connect together. There's 3 along here, and there's 1 in the background. So that's 68 metres away. Damn, should have gone 1 more metre. Yeah, they're only down here, not too far away. However, I was like, the crane's nearby. I could possibly load them all onto the roof and try and pinch it down with a crane. But I just figured I may as well go and get a mule at this point and bring it over this way, which again, is ticking along quite nicely. And it's about here where we have I suppose it's like the equivalent in SnowRunner, really. It's like with the super mud. Getting on for death mud at this rate. Yeah, so it was making me go horrifically slowly. I think at some point I speed it up now by about 6 times. That's how, like, this is 6 times sped up. And that's how painfully slow it's making me go. Which, yeah, like I said, I probably will bring the road building stuff, but not too confident the biker will get through there to lay the sand in the first place. Might have to bring the bowhead maybe, at least the track vehicle. It's quite good for clawing through that sort of stuff. So just behind me I drove past where my crane was, where I just cleared all those objects. I didn't really notice or realise when I drew the lines, but there's this bit of water here. Normally, 9 times out of 10, I probably would have just drove through it, and I've got a feeling it won't be deep enough to drown this thing. But after just having to drive through that horrifically slow mud back there, I was more concerned that it was going to make me go half a mile an hour for the next 2 minutes to get through there. So yeah, whilst I've not got anything in the sideboard, I thought I'd just throw it up the side of the hill, loop my way around and solve that problem. And then yeah, it's those things you've got to grab. There's 2 there. Managed to smash into something. 2 here. And yeah, at some point, like coming up, the game lies, basically. Like after this mission, it then says like you've got to go and visit an area, and it says you'll unlock the forest base. And I noticed immediately, I was like, hang on, that's the base that's like a separate side mission, but I need the concrete slabs in order to unlock it. So I was thinking, I wonder if it was like a bait and switch at first, like maybe it's purposely offered you the chance to do the forest base, but you haven't got the slabs, and then obviously a little bit later on you end up getting a different mission or like a different avenue to unlock the forest base. But I went and did that, and yeah, turns out it's talking out its arse, which again is like the missions don't always be honest with what you're unlocking when you're unlocking it and what the hell's going on. These 4 things, they fit in the sideboard relatively easily, but they are heavier than I thought in total. Get them strapped on, drop the legs. Yeah, immediately there's a wheelie. I was like, right, fair enough. Pretty damn heavy then. See me rolling. Should have sent in the low for this one. You would have hauled this out there, no problem. And yeah, even turning, the weight is a little bit on the high side. Flipped over, fired me crane legs out. I probably got more lucky that they just kept me slightly beyond 90 degrees. Got the crane though, managed to access that and wedge it against the ground, but I had to keep like retracting in and moving it to get a bit of a better nudge going on. Again, yeah, there's a wheelie. I was thinking like going through the water looks like potentially a flat area, but for all I know there could be rocks in there and it'll make me tip over anyway. So I thought I'll try and cut through here, but immediately I was like, oh, it was at this moment he knew. He fucked up. Yeah, didn't even waste my time trying to get the crane out at that point. I was like, yep, she's done. It's gone beyond 90 degrees by the time I even access the crane menu. It'll stall the engine and tell me to sod off anyway. Drove the crane down here, smashed away through the trees because I kind of figured that's the way I was planning on getting this thing out of here anyway. And again, I'm sure the cranes just used to be stronger in general in this game. I had a bit of trouble picking up, I think it was the bowhead way back when. But yeah, this thing, it's not even like the crane. I mean, I lifted it up there, but it must be with the cargo in the mule as well. Like now, and I ended up cutting a chunk out because it was just faffing around. I dropped it eventually and it rolled sideways against one of the trees. My crane won't lift it anymore. I'm holding triangle to like retract the crane cables, I suppose, and it wasn't lifting it up or anything. Been a right pain in the arse, so yeah. Eventually kind of threw it down, dropped my hammer, hope for the best. It worked out alright though once I got past that bit. It was just where I was putting the vehicle down, it was on like a bit of an awkward angle, but the crane wouldn't let me lift it up to move it further along to like a flatter piece of ground. Just because, again, like, the crane's too weak. I don't know what this game company's obsession is with making cranes that just don't work as a crane and don't lift half the shit in the game. Thought I was going to tip then, but we're all good. You can definitely tell though, now nearly went there. But it sort of brings me back to, like, in SnowRunner, you'd have... I probably would take something like maybe the Taiga or whatever and take a ramped flatbed, because at least you could stack these a little bit more evenly along the ramped flatbed. The options in this game really is this sort of thing. I'm not taking anything like the Alkes 400, whatever it is, because it's got a bigger sideboard, but I've not got a crane anyway, so that kind of defeats the purpose. I just, generally speaking, can't really be arsed bringing the heavy transport vehicle. If it was better, I would. But there's a very decent chance you'd bring the heavy transport vehicle, load these 4 on the trailer, and then the trailer would be too heavy for the Zix transport vehicle to drag it anywhere other than maybe along a flat paved yard. So yeah, it just always sort of leads you back to, like, this vehicle is, or, you know, I suppose between this, the original mule with a crane, or that Voron version they've added with a crane, but you are kind of stuck to cycling through those few vehicles really, because nothing else really makes up for the fact that you'd have to take 2 vehicles to have a crane on one and some kind of trailer on the other. I was hoping, like, trying to be lazy with it really and seeing if it'd like just clip the zone and make it go in. That's what she said. But yeah, I was having none of it. I already could see. I was like, I know what you're going to do, but I'm going to do it to find out. Yeah, bloody crane was too high. I could just, I suppose, hold the button and click it down at this point, but... like, nope. Stubbornness. At least at the end, finally, a bit of laziness did pay off. Dropped the hammer, swerve it. Skidded out the sideboard just enough to clip the zone. Took it, yeah, 10 grand payout, not too bad for that, I suppose. Bit of a thumbnail while I'm there. Got me a little wheel propped up on something. And then, yeah, you see now, it says reach the main power substation, and then there's 2 side missions. Repair a power line, which is 5 steel beams I need. I almost actually, when I brought the mule earlier, I'm not bothered, but I could have in theory. That's where the real slow mud was. I could have brought 5 steel beams with me and kind of got that done 2 for 1, but yeah, I'm not too bothered. And then the other side mission is to unlock the forest base. But look, when you click reach the main power substation, it says reach location, rewards, forest base will be restored. And I was like, what? That's this forest base, which is its own separate mission. So again, I was thinking, like, is it sort of a bait and switch? That's an alternative way to unlock it. And maybe like the slabs and well, you know, I have the beams now, but because I haven't got the slabs yet, maybe it was like a red herring kind of mission. So either way, I thought, well, sod it, then I'll go to this location, because if it unlocks the forest base, then cool. I've still only got 1 base as far as I'm aware on this game. Or on this map, I should say. And yeah, still no way to get the slabs to unlock the forest base. Go for a bit of first person, like get seasick looking at this for too long. Now, for no apparent reason, it just got slow as fuck. It wasn't really, I mean, I know I'm nudging a tree down there, but just generally speaking, the thing nearly gave up. I don't really know what it thinks it's caught on. It's not even really chewing the mud up. Yeah, so I mean, this mission was pretty simple, because after you delivered them pipe things, whatever they were, this is literally down the road by comparison. But objective complete, reach the main power substation, reward 500 XP. It says area revealed and all that. I was like, well, have I got the forest base? If I can remember where it is. There it is. No. So it was just talking out its arse. Now it's unlocked a different mission, repair the main power substation, but that doesn't say anything to do with like a reward. Yeah, the forest base is still its own side mission, so I didn't get past any of that. There's 3 zones you've got to clear up for this one, which just now says main power substation will be restored. So maybe that's what it was trying to imply, but even if it was, it would have told you that the main power substation will be restored, and then you visit the location, and then it'll go, oh, well, actually, there's another mission to do. There's 3 areas to clear before we give you the substation. So either way, it's talking out its arse. And then another mission, deliver 2 objects, not too far away. Now I've got the crane and the mule nearby. Those missions will be pretty easy. But yeah, after it was talking shit, I was like, alright, that'll do for today. Get yourself a loaf. That's what we've concluded. He would have got them pipes there. No problem. 37%. I think I was on 30 when I started tonight, so another 7% is ticking along. Yeah, not too bad. Definitely a shorter map, but I think it feels about right. Like, again, I think contamination was a bit too much. They got a little bit too obsessed with those chemical barrels, which apparently might make a reappearance on this map, but if it is, it doesn't seem like it's going to be to the same degree at least. Yeah, quick look at the stats. 20 main objectives left to go. Some of the other stats are kind of a bit weird anyway. Yeah, like I say, that's about it for today. Bit of a simple, not the most thrilling one, but it's some ticked off and we exposed the game for talking shit. Yeah, that's it for today though. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Get yourself a loaf and I'll be back soon.